Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to another live episode of the Unidentified Celebrity Review, your home for credible news, reviews, and commentary on everything UFOs and sometimes other things. My name's Luis Jimenez. Today we have a very special guest, my good friend Carlos Santos. How you doing, friend?
Good, man. That's a jam. That's a way to start the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got a whole intro and everything, man. You know, so I'm almost 100 shows in. It should be a little bit polished by this point. I think you were the 6th episode that we did on the show, if I'm not mistaken. So if you haven't seen that episode, definitely go check it out. We learned a lot about Carlos in that episode.
You were still doing in-person stuff, and we got the Polaroids.
Yeah. It was right before the COVID, right before all this went down. So you said you were on location. Where are you?
I'm in Orlando.
Orlando. Are you shooting something?
No. I'm family.
Familia, Christmas stuff. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't caught up in a while, so I guess let's catch up a little bit. What have you been doing?
So this is literally right now I'm quarantining for 5 or 6 days. It's very important to let everybody know that I'm taking this very seriously before I rejoin. The good thing is that I have a whole apartment to myself before I get tested, and then I'll join my family just in time for Christmas and for New Year's. So I'm excited about that. I haven't seen my family, obviously, for the entirety of the year. I haven't really traveled anywhere but for work. But the good news is the work did kind of start up again in September for me, and I was able to finish some projects that I started. I don't know how much we talked about last time, but there was a movie that I was shooting in Puerto Rico that had obviously got shut down because of COVID. Right. And I picked it up again in September.
That's good.
And then I've been shooting some stuff. I'm doing some commercial work. I've been doing some episodic work on a new series on Amazon. I don't know if it's official, if I can say it or not, but I'm going to be doing a little thing for Undone, which is a great series on Amazon.
Yeah.
With Rosa Salazar and Bob Odenkirk. I can never say it.
Yeah, Odenkirk.
So I'm really excited about that. It's a couple episodes I'll be working on, and it's fantastic. It's such a great show. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I've seen the previews for it. I haven't watched it yet, man. It's
very trippy and it's really cool. And
it's that hand-drawn series, right? It almost looks like a music video.
Yeah, in the style of what they did with Scanner Darkly back in the day.
Right.
So
I got to check that out because I do love Odenkirk. I mean, the dude's an absolute genius. I don't know. Have you seen the preview for his new film? Mr. Nobody, I think it's called.
No, I saw like pictures of it. What is that? What does it look like?
It's I think it was either a writer or one of the producers of John Wick. And he's just like this guy whose house gets robbed at the beginning of the movie, and he doesn't do anything, and his family and all of his friends are like, why didn't you do anything? If that was my house, I would have knocked the dude. You know how everybody gets when they hear the story of you getting robbed or whatever. And then, halfway through the trailer, it reveals that he used to be like, Liam Neeson and Taken, like, he's like a special forces guy, and he's changed his life, and he's trying to control his temper, and of course he loses his temper
John
by
Wick,
the end.
Taken,
but with a family, it's John Wick with a family. His family's not dead, at least not yet. Who knows? Maybe
it's kind of like a revenge. He's forced back into it.
Yeah. Or it's like in the trailer, it's like he's almost at one point he starts looking for fights. You know what I mean? So it looks good. It looks really good. Well, dude, that's awesome that you keep it busy. We're
supposed to start production of Gentified soon. So hopefully, if everything goes well, the beginning of the year.
Well, that is a good transition because wanted to talk about that.
Oh,
right. Pretty fun. So Los Angeles Times, man, top 10 shows of 2020?
Yeah, something like that. Los Angeles Times made like a list of the shows, and that's very exciting.
Dude, you've arrived. You're in the show.
Yeah.
You're in the big leagues now.
It's happening. We're starting to show up on people's lists, so that's a very nice because for a long time it just feels like you're in a vacuum, even if people are giving you, like if people around you are positive about the show or you get feedback, you never really know if something really has an effect until people start like the industry or the media starts talking about it. So I'm really happy that that definitely it's like at the end of the year lists are popping up, and are also I'm trying to remember what it was, but one of the episodes got also put on a list, a really important list. I gotta look for it. I'm terrible at this.
Man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so it's been good stuff. It's just like really positive.
That's great. Well, is there anything you want to say about season 2?
I don't know anything.
You haven't seen any scripts, huh? No. Other than you're just excited for it, obviously.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Well, I hope, and spoiler alert here, but I hope there's at least one more scene where you're raving naked.
You want to see? Yeah.
Anything?
I guess we all want to know if they're gonna write a scene where I get to show
the junk,
my body, yada yada.
Yeah. How many days into the quarantine are you at this apartment?
Third day.
And you're doing how many? 6?
6, yeah.
6.
I'm getting tested on the 6th, and then.
Are you? Big question. Are you going to take the vaccine?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about it that much. I'm just kind of waiting for it to roll out, but
yeah,
I feel like when it becomes available, and it's not like a Black Friday, you have to get in line at 4 a.m. to get it. I'm sure that I guess I'll do it. I've never gotten a flu shot or anything ever either, so this would be new.
I don't think I've ever had a flu shot either.
Yeah. Or like a thing to get like, but yeah, I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. What's the word on the street on your end?
Oh, no. I mean, look, I would take it. I mean, if Pfizer's good enough to get it going in the bedroom, why wouldn't you take that?
You post that? That was a really good one.
Yeah. I might have shared something that somebody had shared. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Like, you trust them for every other drug that they've ever produced. All of a sudden, they got tracking chips in the syringe needle, and they're they're implanting you with a chip. It's like,
they get you with the erection pills, and that's how you trust them. They get you to trust them with your erection.
Yeah, I mean, damn. I mean, they made a ton of money off of it, so at the very least, they should share the wealth a little bit. Well, so dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm of course always stoked and happy for you anytime I see your face in my stream, and it's always good news. So dude, I can't wait to see what else is coming, man. Maybe you can sneak your way on to a new Star Wars show, because there's like 100 of them.
Rogue Squadron doesn't start till 2023, so there's hope I could have a chance to at least audition for a pilot or something.
Something, right? Patty Jenkins, let's go. I mean, the beautiful thing about also Rogue Squadron pilots is they're kind of portly. So, Patty Jenkins, if you're looking for 2 Latino actors that you want to, at least in my case, you're gonna have to butter up that X-Men before I get in there. But
Lou, you keep that mustache. I could already see you with like the helmet and everything.
Man, I tell you, this mustache is destroying it around the house. All right, let me tell you, the family loves it. Girlfriend loves it.
Nice.
Of course, I'm lying about all of that.
Okay, but I bought it. It took you a while to grow, right?
Man, I haven't had a haircut since February.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's almost ponytail length.
What? Are you gonna get a Mando for 2021?
Maybe. I'm working on it.
Damn.
I'm working on it. I just figured I've never grown my hair long ever. So I'm
thinking of doing the same thing actually.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to try it.
Bring it up. I've never had like a longer, just to kind of like let it grow out. I kind of did a little bit a few years ago, but not really,
Yeah. I did. I just did an audition where I was supposed to be playing a grocery store manager. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I won't say what show, but it was 1920s. So, if I'd had my hair real short like I normally do, like a 1920s haircut would have been tough, with this mustache and my hair wet and slicked back. I was like, all right, yeah, I could easily fit in the 20s.
Period piece Lou.
Yeah, well, it just it allows you to change your look. It gives you those options if you're looking for them, or anyway. So that leads, I guess, into the next thing. The real reason why I really wanted you here, Carl.
Yeah, let's forget about it.
Yeah, so this isn't what's funny, man, is I've got Disney Plus and I've got Netflix, and I was trying to get like this page here to stream, and this is what I got up right now. This is I'll talk about this in a second. Let's go. Hold on a second. Let's go back to us. What was I saying? So yeah, I was looking for just something to stream in the background while we talked about it, like Mandalorian or whatever.
Yeah.
Volume off, just the images. And the software, you can see the subtitles, but the whole screen is black. It doesn't let you stream at all. So I can't stream. I can stream YouTube, but I can't stream.
Yeah, they have it so that
Netflix
you can live stream the show. Yeah.
I was surprised. I'm like, damn, dude, that's some pretty sophisticated software right there. But anyway, Mandalorian. We're huge Star Wars fans. All right. So Carlos and I, we met 6-7 years ago now.
Yeah, like
something like that.
2015 or 2014.
2014. Yeah. 2014. That makes sense. And we went and saw the Force Awakens together.
That was 2015.
Yeah, and then we talked ad nauseum about Force Awakens, and then we went and saw
Last Jedi together.
Last Jedi, and
then got an Instagram memory of like because we got to see it in Chinese, which was a huge deal.
Which was a huge deal.
Yeah.
So, but I remember we walked out of all three of those films just talking ad nauseum about Star Wars and what we thought of those films and where they were going. And let's not talk about those because they'll bring up bad memories. But The Mandalorian, I think, has absolutely made up for everything that has been done by Disney so far. Did you watch anyone who's watched, which we don't have many, a lot less than my first stream. We're gonna be talking about Mandalorian spoilers here. So if you haven't watched, spoiler alert. Obviously you watched the season finale, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
First of all, what did you think of this season?
I was a little worried at the beginning because it didn't pick up right where it left off.
Yeah.
After like the second or third episode, I was like, oh no, it lost its steam. People aren't really talking about it. I should have known better. But I feel like because the first season it just started with a bang and everybody was so all about it and everybody was talking about it. And I expected that to keep going, but I should have known that they were just, they're doing a little world building before they got right back into the story. They weren't in a hurry.
Right.
And as soon as everything was just like
I loved the setup of it, like finding Boba's armor, and
that was most important. Like people didn't realize at the time that it was setting up important things through those episodes, but it was still episodic, and it was still the mission of the day of the week.
Right. I love that it pays a really nice homage to those 1960s television Western episodics. Where every week you know what's coming. You know how this is. You know the formula. Like he's gonna have to do a favor for somebody, and then that favor is paid in some sort of honorable way. And it's there's a nice little button to the episode, and then we go on to the next. And I love that because it gives us the opportunity to explore all of these different Star Wars worlds. Yeah. Woo, tough. Okay, so dude, when I saw the episode directed by Carl Weathers, I was like, this is the fucking best episode I've ever seen. And then we got Taika's, and then we got Dave Filoni's, and then we got Favreau's, and then who was the last? I can't remember who directed this last one. But it was so damn good, dude.
Yeah.
It was so
Robert Rodriguez had an episode.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez had dude. I was like, he directed the Boba Fett episode.
The Boba Fett. The one with the Grogu was in the mountain.
Yeah, the only thing I was hoping for, and I just like, I thought it would have been cool, is if Grogu had a growth spurt, you know, like maybe he had hit, puberty or something, and almost kind of like what Guardians of the Galaxy did with Groot.
Yeah, we were thinking like Groot style, but
yeah,
it's gonna take a long time for him to grow up.
I know. But there are those drawings though of a younger Yoda where he's taller. And he looks like
is it based on the New Republic?
I can't remember. I just remember that those images in my head of Yoda just being in his prime, where he's not, when I say taller, I mean he's not like 6 foot, he's still very tiny, but you can see his legs, like you can see his arms, like they would, like he was wearing very skimpy clothing, like it was like Yoda was a badass. But that was the only thing I was like kind of hoping for, but it didn't matter. It still paid off really nicely. So which is your favorite episode?
Oh man, I don't know. The Boba Fett one was definitely exceptional. Once it started to pick up, I think that for a lot of people also, like as soon as we met up with the one with the other Mandalorians, that was a really cool nod for people that were Clone Wars. Ahsoka, I mean, you can't mess around with, like, that's such a special episode. I think was a really good one. But obviously the last one, I'm not gonna count the last one because the last one I think is the last. I mean, it definitely sets up such a huge.
Well, do you think that's the end of Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, there's some people have been talking about, because of the book, when they hint at the Boba Fett is going to be the same as so people don't know, because they're both supposed to come out Christmas 2021,
right? So
we're not, I mean, I don't know, it could go either way. They could have two series happening at the same time, or the Mandalorian could take a break in terms of like the story wise and pick up on Boba Fett, but who knows, because it could go either way. Like right now Mando has to figure out, now he's the leader, right? Because of the Darksaber, he's technically now the de facto leader of the
right.
Mandalorians. So which that they might explore.
Which I thought I had conflicts about that. I was like, it's awesome that he's got the Darksaber now, but it would also have been cool because at the end he takes off his helmet, which means I don't know if that's sort of a signification of, he's ready to drop all of these silly rules and sort of traditions.
This is the way sometimes.
But it would have been cool, I think, if he just laid the sword down and just given it to her and walked away. And what's she gonna do? Leave it there, But I mean,
that's gonna be less dramatic. The implications of that, I think, is really great because it leaves it open-ended. And
I think I gotta say my favorite episode is Robert Rodriguez's Boba Fett episode. That to me was so damn good. It was everything that I wanted to see Boba Fett do ever. with
a brand new armor
but the old armor with all of its scratches, and he's got that almost like that I don't want to call it a skirt, but it was a very like a robe underneath that armor. I was just like, dude, this looks awesome. I wish they didn't paint the armor back. I loved all of the battle scars on it and stuff, but I don't hate it painted either. I mean, I think
it needs to it's symbolic. Obviously, it's been dinged up for so long.
Well, man, I've seen people have broken down, when he shows his family history in that hologram, people have broken down the what those symbols are. I'm like, dude, this is nuts. Like how far people break this down. But okay, so did you say your favorite episode?
I think it's a toss-up because I like the Boba Fett one, but I also like the Ahsoka one. I think the way that they shot it was so beautiful. The Ahsoka one looked really
Well, okay, I'll do this. Let's do this. Let's do our top three, because it's not fair to pick one in this season. Because I'll give you mine while you think about it.
Okay.
I'm going to go Boba Fett, the very last episode, and then Ahsoka.
So,
And then Carl Weathers' episode is it's almost a tie with Ahsoka for me, just because the action in that was killer. With the speeder bikes and jumping down that canyon and that tank that they were driving, and he took out the TIE fighters that were chasing. I mean, there was just so much good action in that flick. And I was
just with Bill Burr, yeah.
No, that's
Wait,
not.
what am I thinking of?
Bill Burr is the episode previous to the last one. That's the one where they go to they go pick up Bill Burr off that prison planet and then take him and help break in, and then he has that conversation which I thought was very Tarantino-esque.
Yeah,
you know, where it was just like, oh, someone's gonna, like, it reminded me very much of that scene from Inglourious Bastards when they're in that bar in the bottom and okay, someone's gonna die here. Probably both of them, you know, which I think might have been cool. Like, it would have been really cool maybe if that happened, because then now the stakes are just really raised. But now I think Bill Burr is probably gonna have a reocurring character somewhere in this world.
Right. It's still TV, it's not film, so they can't kill him off.
Right.
Unless unless they're done with his story, I think.
You know,
the thing that I like is that they have different, like, they could be like, okay, this is the mission. Well, I know who I have to go get.
Well, they killed off Nicholas. What's that guy in season 1? Who am I thinking of? The dude with that was riding the.
Who was yeah.
And it's a famous actor. Who's the actor's name? Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte played the character, and they killed his character. I was like, oh damn! Like, this is gonna be
of, like, because he was getting, like, it was like almost like a father figure our way into the show.
No, for sure.
And it gave him like it's kind of like the Uncle Ben type situation.
But wouldn't it be better though if somewhere in this, like, all of these characters that were introduced, not one of them kicked the bucket, except for the droid, which was Taika Waititi's character. What was he? He was a bounty hunter droid, which ended up being a great character, and you loved him even more because he gave that sacrifice at the end. You know, so I thought it would have been somebody should have bit the bullet here in season 2, I think. But again, minor gripes. Okay, so top 3.
I'm gonna flip it. I think Boba Fett number 1, Ahsoka, and then the last episode.
Okay, all right.
Because I do appreciate the ending, and I appreciated that, but I think I think leading up to that moment, I think the other ones I think are throughout the whole thing are just like there's a lot of positives in the way that they were shot and just like the way that the story ran that I would appreciate more.
Well, the cinematography was killer this year, but you know what was also great was the soundtrack, the score. They really played a lot with that Mandalorian theme this year, and with different instruments and different speeds of the theme. It was the score this year was phenomenal. At first, I didn't like it. It kind of hit my ear a little weird the first couple episodes where I was like, what? Something about this I don't like. But then as the season progressed, I was like, okay, I see.
This season, you didn't like the way that they were using
the first couple episodes. Yeah, the score was. There was something about it I didn't like. But by the end of the season, I'm like, it's phenomenal. Like, I love now that going back on all of them, I could see what the composer was doing with just changing it up. He was just mixing up the score a little bit, and I loved it.
DNA. But isn't it fantastic that within a year it's become so iconic already? Like,
dude, it is.
Every time it plays, I'm just like humming along to it. Like how often.
Well, but not only that, but I mean, just where was you could just speak to this? Where was I as a Star Wars fan a year and a half ago? I was done. I was done with this. I was so over this. I'm like,
talking about The Last Jedi, and we watched it, and now we walked out of that too.
We walked out of the theater. I remember watching that movie, saying to myself, I want to leave. Like, and you and I looked at each other, that scene when Leia exploded into space and then floated back into the the Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and we're like, what just happened? What just happened to Star Wars? It just went to Harry Potter land. I was so dejected. It was so low for me as a Star Wars fan. Lower than being a Miami Dolphins fan was being a Star Wars fan there for the last 6 years. Because you just get excited. It's hard for me to manage expectations when it comes to Star Wars. So I'm like, man, come on. The mythology's there. The stories are there. You guys just aren't trying. Like, there's so much richness to this. Like, what are you doing?
Well, now you can tell that the whole trilogy thing was such a separate case of like Disney, and which is, I think it was the biggest lesson, because it's happened with other properties. I think the biggest, which happened with Ghostbusters, I think like the reality is there's a very fine line, which the Mandalorian just proved. There's a very fine line when you're trying to bring an old property and the respect that it has, as opposed to saying, no, screw the pat. We're gonna have new fans for this or whatever, and you can tell the difference. And just I want to point out, we were much like, I don't hate The Last Jedi personally. I believe that as a movie that stands alone, it's a pretty good movie. The problem with it is that it destroys. Do you remember when we first watched Force Awakens? We were like, damn, it is kind of like a carbon copy, but I guess now it was necessary because it needed to bring the fans back to live. This is what they were doing, but we're going to find out how they're going to treat it with the second movie. That's how we're going to know. And then it just didn't, like, I don't know. It just felt like, it felt like a movie that should have been done after the Skywalker saga was done. Like, they should have literally finished the Skywalker saga so that then they could. Those themes are important. I understand what they were trying to do. I just felt like disrespectful.
I think what it is, and I mean, this has come out, is that completely ignored George Lucas's vision and scripts. Like, they didn't take anything that he wrote, which is kind of silly. Like, I mean, look, George has made mistakes on the prequels, and there are things that I don't like, but now 20 years past the prequels, and you hear Dave Filoni talk about them and sort of the philosophy behind, especially Duel of the Fates, just that the composed music, and you hear the reasoning, and I'm like, God, these movies are awesome. And maybe I'll get that appreciation for the newer films in 10, 15, 20 years. Who knows? But for me, it was kind of, and I agree with you, the Force Awakens, we both were like, hey, that was good. Like, for me, it was like, hey, this is a great introduction for the kid who was my age when he first saw Star Wars. Right. And it's much more updated, much more appealing to the eye. Because if you played original 1977 Star Wars for a 6-year-old today, I think they'd get bored, man. I don't know if they would jump into it as you and I did, because in 1985, Star Wars looked awesome, and it's still, I mean, it's still a gold standard, but you know what I mean? It's those effects of they've aged, and that's, with any film. Right. But the thing I think that's working, the formula that seems to just absolutely click with fans, is stick to the source material, like Filoni, respect it because it's so rich. There are so many characters from that cantina, the first cantina in the original Star Wars, that have been sprinkled so beautifully in this 2 seasons of just perfection. I absolutely love these shows, man. Love them.
That's what I'm also saying. Like, if you remember also, like, when it was all happening at the beginning in 2015, when Disney bought Star Wars, and then they made a big deal about saying, hey, we took George's ideas and we said thank you for them, and then just threw them out. I think it was the beginning. It was a red flag, because you could tell that they were saying basically, hey, we know how to save it. We know, like, thanks, man, but clearly we know better.
I mean, and how could you not also, I mean, listen, if you're sitting there, I would have been like, yeah, go for it. You're Disney. You're Disney. Like, you guys are going to figure it out. It's going to be great. But they didn't. And
I'm going to say that about the prequels. I think the difference between the prequels and this last sequel trilogy is that the prequels had some very. We know what George was trying to do. I'm dropping his name like I know him. George Lucas.
George. You know George.
Oh, Georgie. We know what he was trying to do. The ideas still hold up. The problem is that the execution, for whatever reason, just did not come through, and that's why it made it difficult. Because you could have done. He wanted. I mean, the idea of doing a different type of trilogy was great. The problem is like the dialogue was terrible. You know, like there was a bunch of things that just did come into play that nobody checked them on, and I think that that's what made it. But if you remake, if somebody right now they said, "Hey, we're gonna remake the prequel trilogy," I think half people would be excited to see like an honest to good take on what he was trying to do from the beginning.
I will be 100% honest with you. I think you could scrap all 9 movies and start right from the beginning and redo all of them. Why not? I mean, you did it with Spider-Man. You do it with Batman every year. You do it with the Justice League and all these Marvel movies. We invent these films all the time. Like, it's okay. You can do it, and screw the people who are going to resist it at first, because if, like you said, you stick to the source material, you respect it, it's going to kick ass. It's going to be so good.
I don't think that that's going to happen until everybody's like, I think it's when the core cast finally like passes on. I don't think people, if there's still Mark Hamill around,
no, you could do it. If they sign off on it, if it's good, if they see it and they go, this is the way it should have been done from the beginning, I don't think people are gonna care. Because I mean, look, dude, look at the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, and when they redid the Joker with Heath Ledger. Remember how much kickback there was to like, there's no way he'll ever top Jack Nicholson's Joker. Why are you even gonna try? Like, it was so much pushback to it. And then we saw Heath Ledger's Joker, and that's now the standard for the Joker, period. It doesn't get better.
The only counterpoint to that is that they kind of already did with Force Awakens, and to do it a third time, even if it's just like for real, it would be a little weird. Like, that's the only thing that I feel like they had.
I'm in on it. I'm in on it. If Dave Filoni and Favreau are,
they don't need to. That's the beautiful thing that this is what the Mandalorian is showing, is that you don't need to remake anything. You literally there's so much to explore that hasn't been explored. That's the one thing that I have that I would have in disagreement with you. I think it'd be great, but I think that's the problem. Treading weirdly, like the stuff that's already been there, is the problem. There's so much rich history, and I think also one of the things that people got pissed off is when they turn everything into legends. A lot of people like grew up reading the extended Star Wars universe and perceived it as canon, and for Disney to be like, nah, which is fine now, because now it's different. Now you say, okay, this is legends, and then now like the MCU did with the comics, now we're gonna pick and choose what we're gonna put into the official like movie. Not movie, but just like the live action, we're gonna take from that, and I think that's better. I think that's a better way to approach it, because there is so much. If you treat the extended universe like the comics in terms of Marvel, I think now that because that blueprint was so successful, I think now there's a chance that they will now be making the right decision.
I totally agree. Look, if I'm not saying redo Star Wars right now, like. Definitely not saying that. I'd much rather have extended universes, different timelines, and all of those other things hit before we ever remade the original trilogy. And that leads me to the next thing. And what's the first new Star Wars thing you would like to see be made, or is maybe in the process of being made
that hasn't been announced?
That either hasn't been announced or has been announced. What are you most excited for? Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay,
they should have done that. I mean, now I'm happy that they didn't, because they'll be able to explore it in a serial format in a way that they would have never been able to explore in a movie. So at first I was really upset, because I thought, why do Solo when you literally have the actor? We've talked about this.
Right.
But now knowing that there's a new Disney Plus universe series, like live action series universe coming out, I think it makes perfect sense.
See, I think you could redo Solo. You could redo Solo if you did it right. You could. That movie should. I told you my vision of that film. It should be Cannonball Run with Han Solo. Like, that should be the film. And let Taika Waititi direct it. It should be Cannonball Run, man. Let it be funny. Let it be a race of some kind. Where you've got to get the first person to get like some sort of uranium shipment to a part of the universe, like something just in that vein. where you've got all these different ships and all of these different people involved, and you see all of their different adventures and the trouble they get into. Like it can be awesome. But
they got cold feet because it was originally going to be in that vibe, not necessarily Cannonball, but that with Tom, was it Lord and Miller?
Yeah, the Lego guys,
right? Lord and Miller.
Yeah.
It was going to be that vibe. I mean, that was the flow, but then Disney got like scared, and then
they got scared. Right, which
so
is
maybe now they'll be more, they'll be emboldened, because I think Taika has come in and say, hey, we could still have a good thing and have a flavor and a personality that's different than the thing.
I mean, I'm just glad that they didn't rush into Obi-Wan, and they kind of pulled back, and they're like, whoa, let's focus on one thing. Let that one thing be Mandalorian. Let's get that right, and then that can be the blueprint for everything going forward.
Yeah.
And that's I think this show, you just nailed it on the head.
John Favreau. I'm just putting them together. It's John Favreau.
Yeah. It is the Iron Man of the Star Wars universe. And I kind of had a feeling he was trying to do this from the beginning, just from the opening credit. You know, the opening credits where it shows the different helmets. Yeah. And then it goes into this Star Wars thing, and I'm like, oh, he's creating a universe. Yeah. He's actually going to expand it to this endless galaxy, and it's the right move, man. It is absolutely the right move. I'm here for it all day. But the thing I'm most excited about, and I think I'm gonna have to go with Ahsoka, because I want to see this. The story of Thrawn and who is going to play Thrawn. For me, dude, this video, and if you want me to send you this, have you read the Book of Thrawn?
No, but I've read enough about it. You know what I mean? Like I haven't read specifically, but you read about articles. And
if you want a video, that
is the one thing that people are excited about. The people that grew up on EU on Extended, that's all I've ever, even before I even knew. I was just like a baby Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
People were like, Thrawn trilogies, that's what they should have done. Thrawn trilogy. So in my mind, I was like, Thrawn. And then finally, when I saw what it was, like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Dude, I cannot wait to see the screen version of this character. And one name that was thrown in there that I was like, yep, perfect actor, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. The absolute perfect actor for this role.
I can't unsee it now.
No, now you
did it with Star Trek too.
Yeah,
like Khan,
right? But he's got that great monotone, very non-emotional,
charismatic
acting, and can still be charismatic at the same time. This is, to me, the best. Look, I just found out about Thrawn. I think that's why I'm so excited about him. I heard about him. Yeah. See, I haven't read the extended universe. I haven't gone that nerdy into Star Wars. I do know a lot about it, but it's mostly from the films, not from the extended books. But now I'm getting into the extended books and comics, and this video that's playing right here, somebody animated the entire first half of Thrawn's story through the comic pages and voiced all of the dialogue with different voices. It's awesome. Yeah. And it's an audiobook essentially, but with pictures. And I'm going to include the link for this in the description for you guys so you can check it out. But it is like, this is the perfect thing to listen to if you're just kind of, working on something and you want something playing in the background. This is such a great breakdown of who Thrawn is, how he started, why he's so well respected. He's a genius. He is the smartest character in the Star Wars universe, period. If you like Orson Scott Card, if you like Ender's Game, this guy is the Ender Beanie of the Star Wars universe. He has got a philosophy. He's the bad guy, but he's doing the things he's doing because there is, according in these legends, that there's an even bigger threat to the galaxy outside of the Galactic Empire and evil Sith Lords and things like that. It is, I cannot wait for this, man.
That's why it's exciting too, because you can tell too now, because of the MCU blueprint, that they are setting up these separate series that are going to eventually come together for like an end game type thing. And I believe that Thrawn is going to be the thing.
Man,
and that's going to be wild if they pull that off, which I believe now they're not going to mess around. If they
no, they're not. They can't. This is the perfect. This is exactly the shot in the arm that this universe needs. It is. I mean, I think this is my favorite character in Star Wars. I cannot. I want to see this story more than Obi-Wan, more than Darth Vader, more than anybody. I mean, I can't wait. I cannot wait. So that's Star Wars.
Also, how do you feel about this is a polarizing question. Yeah. How do you feel about Baby Yoda, Grogu, having a lot more baby noises in this season than the first?
I mean, how could you hate it?
Yeah.
I love that.
It came out of nowhere. It was so now every time they cut to him doing baby noises. Well,
like I said, I was kind of hoping for a growth spurt. So I mean, I was hoping for him to form words by season 2, but we didn't get any of that. I'm hoping maybe next time we see him, he'll have gone through some training and maybe can form some words or maybe communicate telepathically, kind of like he did with Osaka, but we'll be able to sort of understand it through some sort of camera technique or whatever.
Yeah. I think he would, if you think about the timeline, if you place him in the actual sequel trilogies, he would now be old enough to be like a boy, right? If he's a baby and a 50, then 30 more years will make him like a little boy.
Well, he was born at around the exact same time as Anakin Skywalker.
Right. And they say that they hid him, or now they're trying to explain that.
Yeah,
when he went to kill all the younglings.
Do you remember how old Yoda was?
Huh?
How old was Yoda? Do you remember? He was like
300.
Oh, okay. I thought he was way older than that.
Maybe older. I'm sorry.
I thought it was like 500 or 600 years old. I could be wrong, but let me know in the chat if anybody knows that. But yeah, dude. So Grogu is then at this point he's got to be what, in his 50s, 60s?
Yeah, he's 50. 9 centuries, bro. We were off 900 years.
900 years old.
It's gonna be. The good news is that they could definitely go into the far future and have his stories played out.
Yeah,
it would have nothing to do with like Skywalker or anything.
Skywalker, all this. That could be cool.
He is. I think he might. And I think that's why they're probably playing it right.
Yeah.
Because he could be the thing that, like, he could be the balance to the Force.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, dude, the balance of the Force, man. There's so many things you could pinpoint on. Well, if this wasn't here, everything would have been messed up, And that's kind of the beauty of this story, is that you could literally pull one character out of it and the entire house crumbles. What was I gonna say? God, I totally forgot. I can't remember. I just had a brain fart. Damn. Well, dude, yeah, I cannot wait. I just can't wait for all of this. God, yeah. I mean, any other thoughts on Star Wars? I forgot what I was thinking.
What do we feel about the deep fake?
Oh God, sorry. I don't mean to cut out the deepfake. I just remembered. How cool would it be if at some point, because the one thing that Disney released a couple of weeks ago, which really intrigued me, was the what if sort of aspect. Like, what if Luke Skywalker had actually been trained by Qui-Gon Jinn? What if I think that would be cool. Somewhere down the road, they did something along those lines.
Qui-Gon didn't die. Or wasn't killed.
Right. Or or if can you imagine if Anakin Skywalker had actually ended up being a Jedi as opposed to a Sith Lord? Like, how would the universe look then? So that could be cool. That could be really cool. So what were we saying about deepfake?
Yeah, a lot of people were kind of upset, or it's impossible to get everybody to get on board. Even though the episode was beloved, the Mandalorian episode was beloved, that people. Which I understand, like, people have been fan casting Sebastian Stan as Luke for a long time. So I think when I was watching, I was like, what are they going to do? Are they going to show? This is how we find out.
Right.
that because he could pull it off essentially, and it should. But I mean, I understand what they were going for. It's still a TV show.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I hope if they
it
ever
did look a little off, but it wasn't enough to get me out of it. It did turn people off.
Okay, I see what you're saying by deepfake. Yeah. Okay.
Which honestly looks way better now. Deepfakes look better than to rebuilding a whole thing like they did for like Leia and Rogue One.
Yeah. I'd rather just recast it with a real person that can act the part.
Yeah.
At least I just don't think it's real close. We're real close, but it's not quite there. It's that technology works great if you're creating a YouTube movie, where it's really hard to tell. But if you're doing it on film with real cameras and those digital effects, they're just not quite there. But it didn't kill me. It didn't totally take me out of it. But yeah, I think it would have been better if they just set up a real actor that could have played that part. And who's the actor that does look like him?
Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier, Bucky.
Oh yeah.
And this is also what happened with what's her name for Ahsoka. People fan casted her, and that's how she got in. Right. But I do believe that there's a world where that works, where he could play a young Luke Skywalker, and obviously I don't mean that there should be like he should lead a series. I think the smartest thing to do is to keep him like that ancillary. You don't need to go revisit the adventures of young Luke Skywalker, but used like that, I think it would be very smart because this is how we felt when we watched it happen in this last episode. It's like we've been following the story along. We know that it's happening in the same universe, but we get to see other stuff, and finally you get a little they meet. And it's very special. It doesn't feel ham-fisted. It doesn't feel pandering. And they just figured out, that's the way to do it.
Right. No, well, I mean, yeah, dude. I've just, for the first time, I've been excited about Star Wars again, and I wanted to talk about it with a Star Wars fan. You know, you're one of my favorite guys to talk about this with. So yeah. So okay. So I think we've pretty much covered everything Star Wars. Now I know you play video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you buy the very highly anticipated
Cyberpunk
2077?
No, I was waiting. I was waiting because I was already hearing a lot of stuff. Honestly, I was waiting because if I wanted to play it, I was willing to wait to play it on the PS5.
Yeah.
And I started reading up on the fact that it just wasn't the same experience on the PS4 or the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who waited to play Spider-Man until I finally got a PS4. I just got a PS4 a year ago. I waited till they had the slim version, and then I finally caught up to everything. I caught up to Spider-Man. I caught up to Last of Us, which I played perfectly. I played Last of Us, and then the second one came out, so I literally finished it, went to buy it, and I kept playing. It was, because a lot of times you play and you have to wait for the sequels. It was seamless. I mean, literally seamless. I finished it and I kept playing, and it was such a great, gratifying experience during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Cyberpunk, I mean, I do feel a little FOMO, but I'm like, I'd rather wait. If I've done it before, I'll do it again. I'll wait for all the bugs to be whatever. But I just read too. Did you read that they're issuing refunds and it's not even available anymore?
Yeah, they took it off the PlayStation, so I bought it.
Oh boy.
I bought it not having read any of that stuff, just because I've been so busy and I just didn't get any sort of the word on what was going on. I knew that it was
due diligence.
I knew it had been delayed, but I had enough trust in the developer, CD Projekt Red, and they had made The Witcher 3, which I really enjoyed that game. And I was like, dude, there's no way they could screw this up. They've been developing it for now, 4 years, almost 5 years. And I also met all of the developers of the game when they were here in LA at E3. They came into the restaurant and they were all sitting at the same table. And I picked their brain about everything Cyberpunk. I was like, dude, should I wait for the new console? They're all like, no, buy it on the console, man. Buy it right away. All of them. Really? All of them were just so stoked on this game. They were so ready for it to come out. And I started playing it. And I'm sure you get those feelings when you buy a brand new game and you start playing and you're like, something's not right about this game. I can't put my finger on it exactly. And then it froze. The game just straight up froze. I was like, okay. So I rebooted it. And then I was sitting there playing, and as sometimes, somebody calls you or texts you and you're sitting there, the lobby music that was coming through as you had the game paused was just, it wasn't like Skrillex or something, but there was something about this composition of lobby music that after about 40 or 50 seconds of hearing it just in the background, my head was, I had to do this. I just straight up had to take my headphones off. I was like, fuck, dude, this music sucks. And then I start playing the game again, and the story's okay, but it's like the experience that they had sold. Yeah.
That's also the problem. The problem is that the hype leading up to it was so great.
Yeah.
That it was just, they were doomed to fade. Like the standards were set too high. The graphics, the thing, like, it's hard, man. You can't, and I think it feels like they caved in and they put it out and they're like, we'll fix it in post, kind of a thing. We'll put the patches.
Yeah, man.
And it was just too much. You can't get people excited about it. It's like seeing a trailer for a movie that won't come out for 2 years. You're like, people are gonna get upset. They're like, this should have come out already. I've been seeing it.
Right. Eventually, they're gonna.
It backfired a little bit. I think it backfired.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, I really wanted to like the game a lot, but I was just playing. I'm like, man, I can't play this shit anymore. I only got maybe 2 or 3 hours into it. I'm like, yeah, this game sucks. The game mechanics are really, really bad. The fighting, the shooting in the game, and the driving experience in the game is terrible. Yeah. And I was bummed out, man, because I really wanted to like this game because there was a lot of customization. Like all of the customization that they had said was coming to the game, none of it was in there. Like apparently, I was hearing you could anatomically, correctly set your character, and none of that was in there.
No,
I was looking forward to that. Yeah, I was looking forward.
You were looking forward to the anatomically correct
of my avatar. Yes, internet. Yes, that was the first thing I was looking for.
Measuring. Yeah.
God.
And to a lesser degree, it's kind of what happened with Avengers. To a very lesser degree, because it still functions and they figured it out.
The video game?
Yeah, the video game.
Did it have
came out? It was just like a little buggy, or it wasn't complete. People weren't like I got it and I just stopped playing, and then I have to pick it back up again because a lot of new stories came out, but it just felt like at the beginning where it just something was off about it.
These game developers have got some cojones, man. They are from what I understand, they made all of their money back on the pre-orders and the first week of initial sales.
Yeah.
They've made all of the money they spent, all of the PR.
It's like getting in advance.
It's $1 billion. I mean, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry. This is not this is bigger than Hollywood, I think, on some level.
Point, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold more copies, I think, than any other multimedia thing ever. It's up there. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, yeah.
And that game released 6 years ago, and it's still the best game on the system, maybe anywhere. Like it's a perfect game. It's a perfect game. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Cyberpunk 2077 debacle.
Yeah, it's gonna go down. It's definitely gonna be I think it's gonna be a lesson for a lot of developers in how they approach, because it makes sense. I think you just hit it on the nail. The idea, the excitement of actually getting money even before the comes out. Is the reason why I think they hyped it up so much, but now they're paying for it. And now all that money, that money made interest for them. So even if they think about it, that was money for something that wasn't even sold, that made interest. So if they played it right, they made money off of that money and they can just earn it.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it.
I didn't accused of scam, but
you just blew my mind with that. I didn't even think about the interest that those pre-orders create. Yeah, man. I mean, that's free money that they got to play with for 2 years.
Yeah.
wow, man, that's criminal. It's criminal. So this guy Kenneth Vasa is saying, yeah, I'm waiting for the Xbox Series X for a good experience. Sadly, it's out of stock. What's your thoughts on the new systems?
I used to be an Xbox person for a long time, and then I just got sick of all the games that I missed out on that were PlayStation exclusive. So a year and a half ago, I got the PlayStation 4, and I was been able to catch up with a lot of those games. So I think I'm just gonna stick to the PS5 for now. Because I did all of the Xboxes, the first one, the second one, I did.
Have you gotten a PS5?
Xbox 360, Xbox, like all those. And then I got the one, and I hardly played it, so it was already like, there just didn't seem to be exciting games for me.
You haven't gotten to play the PS5, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. No, I haven't gotten any of them either. But I will say this: I think you're switching at the wrong time.
To PS5?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Xbox is doing all of the live or the internet experience of the platform for PS5. It's all run through Xbox. It's all run through Microsoft. And the Microsoft bought I think it was 12 studios, gaming studios, independent gaming studios, and have said to them, you've got free reign. Go for it. Make whatever you want. Here's the platform.
They're licensed.
License exclusive content.
Well, it's kind of like they realized that PlayStation ended up.
People want exclusive content. They want games that are like Halo. They want a Halo.
Yeah, the problem is that that's all they have, really. Think about all that.
Yeah, they've only got really Halo. They've got what was the other game? Gears of War. Yeah. And they've got,
and they're all the same. It's the same vibe. It's the same genre.
Yeah, it's sort of shoot 'em up games.
Like internet stuff, though, here's the thing why I don't think it's going to be bad, because I don't naturally gravitate. I never transferred over to online gaming. I never did. I've never done it. I never had that thing about competing and shit. So for me, I think the fact that there was more than 5 games that I've been wanting to play, like Uncharted, like some of the Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, which is amazing, because for me, the best game that I think to this day was Spider-Man 2 when it came out in 2004. So being able to play that in this generation, new generation console was amazing. And Last of Us, there was too much pressure. I was like, finally, I can't. There's no reason for me to not get the PS4 at that point. So I did it.
Well, yeah, I bought a PS4 when Red Dead Redemption came out.
Yeah, I missed out on Red Dead Redemption. I haven't even played that yet, dude.
Dude, play it. So good.
You know what I mean?
It's so good.
Too many exclusives, bro.
Yeah. Well, Red Dead Redemption wasn't exclusive for PlayStation, but
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I bought it when that game came out, so I bought it with the PlayStation. I was like, well, screw it. Let me just buy it with the PlayStation. The reason why I bought the PlayStation, because I wanted to play this game called Days Gone. It was another one of those hype games at E3 that looked awesome. It was like a zombie shoot 'em up game. And I played it. It was the most disappointing game I've ever played. And some of I did play Event Horizon or is it called Event Horizon?
Yeah, that's the one where they build it as the world that you could explore the world.
With the mechanical dinosaurs and stuff.
I thought that was the one where they said that it was a whole universe of planets, and then when the game came out, it was repetitive.
Yeah, no, that was a different game. That was if anybody in the chat knows that the game Carlos is talking about, I know what you're saying. It's like a space exploration game.
Yeah.
That game is actually now supposedly done. Like that game is kind of had a Cyberpunk kind of release where this isn't the game you promised us, and then 4 or 5 years after release, the good thing is that the developers and the team, they stuck with the game and they kept adding to it. But it's it's too little, too late, man. You missed it. Nobody's playing the game anymore, because that first initial release is the most important thing. If you pooch that, it's gonna be hard to get me back as a gamer. It's going to be tough to get me back, but basically my PlayStation has just been collecting dust. So I'm waiting for the Xbox Series S to be available, and I was going to trade in the PlayStation to get that. Because the No Man's Sky, that's the name of the game.
That's it.
And also Kenneth makes a great point about Game Pass on Xbox, dude. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember how much it is a month. It's something like $20, and you get access to over 100 games. I mean, you can play I've been playing all sorts of games, and I figured out also a lot of these games are terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah.
But at least I know without buying the whole game, and now I'm stuck with this game.
Yeah, the one thing I think I noticed, or I saw I read about it, that the Game Pass, the access to the internet games from Xbox to PlayStation, like Xbox takes it.
Well, the cool thing is I think this next generation of consoles is going to allow us to still play the same game and talk to each other. Because I do that now with one of the games, the Call of Duty games. My one friend's on PlayStation and I'm on Xbox, and we play together all the time.
You can do that?
Yeah. We can communicate. It's the same game.
That's how much I'm out of it, bro. That's how much I'm out of it.
No, me too, man. I've barely got time. And when I do, sometimes it's funny, dude. When I do have time to play video games, I'll pick up the controller. I'll struggle for 20 minutes to figure out which game I'm gonna play, and then I'll enter the game. Just like Netflix. And then I'll sit there and I'll be like, I don't feel like playing anymore, and then I'll just go do something else, man. Just because it's like sometimes I'm just so mentally exhausted from looking at screens and editing and just all day. I'm just like, all right, I thought I wanted to do this, but I don't. But I thought it would be fun to stick the new Xbox in the office here. So maybe
I get an Oculus Quest.
You know what, man?
Are you a good time?
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. So you like it. What's it hooked up to?
Nothing. That's why I got it. All you need is, which is a little suspect, but all you need is a Facebook profile, but an internet, but you have access, and it's kind of like as soon as you get into the thing, you can get the game. Once you're connected, you can buy games directly from like a Apple Store type setup. And just play directly.
I did that Oculus thing at a Best Buy display, and I popped that thing on, and it was like this Marvel game. And in this game, Loki grows like 15 times his size.
Yeah.
And I did whoa, just like that. And I'm like, dude, this is killer. And then I took the thing off, and it felt like I just got off a boat. Whoa.
Well, this one, I usually get very motion sick. So sometimes, depending on the games, there are some games that I play, like the way that they move. But I'll give you an example, which is worth I bought it because there was also a lot of games that I was looking at. There's a Walking Dead game that is really good that I still am playing so many other games that I haven't gotten to that one, the Saints and Sinners. But there's Arizona. There's another zombie game that's really cool, which is older. It used to be on the Rift.
Can you play with friends?
I think you can, if that's the thing. I haven't done it because I don't usually do that, but who
else has an Oculus?
Because if you have Facebook, you can connect with people that already have it, and you can play together. But I will say that it is for something that doesn't have to connect to something. That's the reason why I hadn't done it, and it's great. You literally plug and play. You put the thing, you set up the coordinates. But there's a Star Wars game, Vader Immortal. That's really it comes in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And that's fun, man. That feels like, you know what? That's very. Remember when we did that thing?
I was just about to ask. Yeah, the thing in the mall where we walked through the like a VR room.
VR thing with the packet and the thing. It's very much similar to that vibe. But
you're not walking through the house.
No, you can't. You can't.
Well, let me ask you. So, what do? You sit in like a spinny chair and you just kind of like?
No, I just have like as much space that I can have, and it just sets up the boundaries so you can, when you're moving, you're just teleporting. So you usually
have a joystick in your hand.
You point to where it wants to go, and then it just goes.
Got it.
I played another game that moves as you move, and I was like, so I was like, I can't. I got to do teleporting. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it's very trippy when you're looking at it. And
have you watched any live sports on that thing?
No.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
Okay,
If
because
you get on, yeah, I'm
one
sure.
of
I
my
don't know if live, but I'm sure that they have like some events and stuff that you can get in there. But it looks great, man.
well, I was telling you about that a couple of years ago, or a year ago. I remember after we had done a show, my friends in New York City who were doing that Batsu show, and they were approached.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they were approached by the people who do the live, Oculus shows or whatever, and they did a couple shows with him. They turned out to be great. But he was telling me, like, you're gonna see these Oculus goggles sold with your cable package. Like it'll come with your cable box, because they want to get these goggles in people's hands, because the idea was, you can go to your favorite sporting event without leaving the comfort of your
right.
own home, and you could go with your buddies, and you
Yeah.
can get center court at a basketball game with all of the fans there. You hear everything, you see everything, but the catch was, the gimmick and the reason why people would get it for free with, say, a cable subscription.
So you have to pay for the subscription.
No, you don't. Well, I mean, you would have to pay for like the NBA access, the pass or whatever. That's for sure. But the where the money comes in is all of the banners in the stadium, the tickers, the advertisement,
our ads.
All of those things are catered to what you look at on Facebook.
Oh, that makes sense.
Everybody is seeing different ads through their goggles based on what they clicked on, and that's where the money comes in. That's where the advertising revenue would work into that business model, I guess you would call it. But I thought, man, dude, that would be cool.
I haven't seen a live, like I haven't really gone that far to like looking for that stuff. Huh?
If there's like I've got let me know. Let me know. Try and get into like a basketball game or something. I'd love to get.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it,
if you have
something.
I've got the NFL Sunday ticket, and I've got the NBA League Pass. So if you want to borrow my password and see if it works, if you need it, let me know, and I'll throw it to you.
I'll do a little
because I would love to know. I'd love to get your opinion on that experience.
The good thing is, like, you can actually have like you're sitting in a movie theater type experience. So you're sitting in a black space, and you have a huge screen in front of you, and it very much feels like you're in a theater. So that could be a really cool approximation to see something with your friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's dope. I've been playing it, and you play just like all sweaty and like it's really fun.
What? How much was that thing?
They're
not crazy expensive anymore,
are they? 300. It was like 399 for the one with the most amount of space.
Yeah,
you can get it for $299. But I saw it because I've been thinking about it, and it came out back in September. This is the second Oculus Quest 2. And then I saw it, and I was like, should I get it? And it came in 24 hours. I was like, it was an impulse buy. I'm glad I did it though, because it's definitely been fun. Because I've been waiting for something like that to come out. I had done other people's like riffs, but I would never buy a computer just to get that, or I would never have a gaming system through a computer.
Right.
I never grew up with that, so it just doesn't come natural to me. So I'm very happy, and I mean, it's so good, and still like I'm starting to watch and read about headsets and how like it's coming, like the technology is getting so much better.
Right.
That in a couple of years, man, it's gonna look so good in terms of refresh rate and the graphics and everything. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. But right now, as is, this thing that you're looking at, dude, it's so much fun. And all I gotta do is charge it up and put it on.
Yeah.
It also hands too. Yeah. It's really
it's just like a Wi-Fi thing. You pick the game you want, it downloads straight to the headset, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I believe you need to have Wi-Fi internet connection to play. I haven't tried it offline because you do need to be connected you need to have a Facebook account.
Yeah,
because they own it. So
right. No, that makes sense.
But it's great. It's definitely worth the $400.
Well, damn, dude, I wish I had thought of that for a Christmas present or something. That would have been cool to get to give or to get.
There's still a chance, bro.
Yeah, a boy can dream. No, I mean, like, it's not something that I would be the first thing on my list. There's just so many other things I need in my life, but it looks fun, you know. It looks fun. I just I would be afraid that there's not enough room in my house, and I would definitely hurt myself because I'm already clumsy as it is.
Well, the way they set it up, when you literally spray the floor with the thing to mark the delineations of what the space that you have, and as soon as you get too close, even like a couple steps before, there's a wall comes up so that you're aware of your space, so you know.
Okay.
So it's not like you're gonna run into a wall.
Right.
You can't see it. That is made specifically. Obviously, with more space, it feels better because you know it really feels like when you're especially like the Star Wars game and you're like literally the spaces that you can actually walk to and not transport. It feels so cool because you're like.
What's the longest you've gamed with that thing on your head?
I don't know, like an hour.
Okay. And how did you feel after that hour?
I mean, you feel like there's a decompression.
You're trying to eat your food and you're stabbing the counter?
What's that?
You're trying to eat your food and you're stabbing the table with your fork?
Yeah. No, I don't lose depth perception, but it definitely there's like
there's an adjustment period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
And this is coming from somebody that gets motion sick so easily. So like I remember going to like there were other models back in the day that I used to go to that immediately made me motion sick. And so like they've gotten so good at it. So coming from somebody that gets sick so easily, it's actually pretty decent.
Yeah. So obviously you're quarantining, right? So you haven't had any guests there. Have you been really bored the last
No, dude, I'm so used to this is like this is all hack,
I mean, now of course you got that Oculus.
It doesn't even feel like I'm just like the time, like you're already like,
dude, how crazy, right?
Yeah.
Although it feels like, you know, I don't know, like the fact that we're already at Christmas did that come on you quick or did that feel like 40 years?
I already knew it's all happening at the same time. It feels like quarantine started 7 years ago and it also happened seconds ago. Because think about it. If you had where you sit, like where I sit in my apartment in front of my TV, I basically had been sitting there for such a huge chunk of the year that when you look back, to me, it feels like it was so long ago. But at the same time, it's just on a snap because like I feel like when you're not really doing much, like time just kind of compresses. I feel like that's the way I feel like if you like grew up if you stay in your hometown and you never leave, that's what it feels like. I feel like people just like the years just like suddenly 30 years, but because you go do the same thing, the routine for so long, it just time kind of like blends together.
Yeah, it moves at a different speed. Now time is relative. Time is absolutely relative.
So I feel it both at the same time. It feels like it was a hot second. It doesn't surprise me because suddenly it's like, oh, it's been every time we're like, oh, we're in October. Oh, what? So I knew that was coming. I knew it was going to be fast, but also like I couldn't wait. You know, like the time it felt long and short. Like I don't know. It's weird.
Do you think when do you think we're gonna get back to normal? Is there a normal ever coming back?
I mean, that'll depend on the vaccine rollout, right? I think the vaccine rollout at the beginning of 2021 is going to help a lot ease more like the emotional stress of everybody as opposed to like the actual physical thing. I think it's going to give a light at the end of the tunnel.
I would hope.
But I don't think
there's so many people that don't trust it.
I think we're going to still be doing this through 2021 at least.
What do you think? Do the theaters make it?
I think they will, man. I think, like we haven't talked about the HBO Max thing. I don't know how you feel about it. It just makes sense. The problem is like, it is a war because it's all about money. And it's funny because people are upset about HBO Max and the movie theaters are getting like upset about the thing but nobody's talking about the fact that they're making the money off of us and nobody's listening to what we want or what we need. And I really think I'm kind of split because I understand the HBO Max move. It makes sense. I understand that they're sacrificing all that money, but if it gets subscribers, it's a business move. And AT&T doesn't give a crap about the history of cinema. Like that's why we have the Snyder Cut. That's why they have so much money. They have stupid money to throw at stuff. We're like, do people like this? Okay, here's all the money. So it's really interesting to see all these industry players being like, hey, you're not respecting the way that things have been. And that sounds like when you're, like like the same way people talked about film and digital.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how it all plays out. I feel like, and I'm only saying this because I do believe in going to the theaters. I also believe that if it's not safe, I'm not going to go. But I have rented out an entire movie theater just to watch a movie.
Oh, I've done that too.
So
I've done that too.
I watched Tenet. I paid $150 for 3 of us.
I did that for the second Matrix film. And I did that for the second.
So there was no
Star
pandemic,
Wars
and you did that?
Yeah. Oh no, there was no pandemic. Well, yeah. I mean, dude, this the anticipation for Star Wars. I don't know if you remember, dude, but people were camping in line for a week. Yeah. And the only reason why I got into the first one is because I paid the second guy in line to buy me some tickets. Right. And then the second one, I was like, screw that, dude. I'm gonna rent the theater and then I'm gonna charge $25 a head and only fill it a third of the way. And you don't have to wait. You don't have to.
That's smart.
You know. And I told all my friends, hey, you guys want to watch Star Wars? $25, bro. Help me pay for the theater. And I made a couple bucks and everybody loved it because you got free popcorn and free drinks and the refills were free. And it was like a party. It was like an office party, but I did it for my buddy.
Did you pay for that? Do you remember?
Oh God, dude.
Is it a lot?
Yeah, this was 1997 or wait, 2001.
For which Star Wars?
I think it was like, God, dude. I want to say I can't remember, but I want to say somewhere in the realm of like $1,200.
Attack of the Clones?
It was Attack of the Clones. Yeah. So Attack of the Clones and the second Matrix film. And
that was 2002, 2003.
Yeah. So, I remember I made like $400 or $500 off each one.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. But yeah, it was like it made it was awesome because everybody loved it. They walked out going, dude, I'll never watch another film. I'll never wait in line for a movie. And this was before Fandango and before all this stuff.
Well, I'm talking about pandemic times. I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, of course not. I've never.
So the only theaters available were in Anaheim. So Cinemark had the thing where you can rent it out for up to 20 people, and it was just three people.
How much did they charge?
Is there a party here? It was like,
yeah.
And they didn't have free popcorn or free whatever, but it was still really cool, and it felt. So what I'm saying, if there's people like you and me that are willing to pay for an entire thing, I don't think it's gonna die. The problem is that what they're really saying, if you really think about it, is like you want to force people to take away their options. So like the movie industry, the movie theater industry is basically saying if you give an option to people, then we're gonna lose money, and it's not about what the consumer wants. Like I feel there's something wrong with that.
Yeah,
because you should be able to have a choice whether you want to see something in the theater or not. Because people that really love the experience are gonna go, and people that don't are gonna pirate it. It doesn't. I don't think that's gonna. I think you're just trying to you're fighting for nickels here for being like forcing people to go to the theater. If they don't like it, they're gonna find a way to not go to the theater.
But not only that, dude, it's just
I will do whatever it takes if I can to go to a theater if I can.
Well, you and I also when you and I go to a movie theater, the most tickets we're paying for is maybe one other one plus us. When you're going to the movie theater with a family of 5 and you got to buy everybody popcorn and candy. I mean, dude, you're talking about a $200 night, like to go to the movies, I mean, how much more can you charge a family? I was having this discussion too with my buddy Eric, who again, he does that show in New York, Batsu, but they've also got, Broadway producers that work for their show. And it was the same question. It's just like, well, you can't you're already charging $600 per ticket to go watch Hamilton with a full house.
Yeah.
What is that ticket price going to go up to if you cut the audience in half? $1,200?
Well, it also shows that or it already shows that people have the movie theater industry has gotten away with inflating these prices. And you're paying for the convenience, the thing. So people have been complaining about this for a long time. We have talked about how expensive popcorn and concession stand this is how we make our money, and so it's a power play. And I think that everybody was playing by the rules, by the book. And the pandemic is the thing that kind of what was okay, we're gonna reset this whole thing where we no longer, with Trolls that happened, and now with HBO Max, which they're gonna have Wonder Woman next week, which I think it makes sense, man. It makes sense. It doesn't, whether they decide to, they say it's only gonna be a year, but people are scared. I just don't think it's right for movie people to be like, we're losing money. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So is everybody.
So like, you're mad at the people that are giving you the
money.
movies that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's it's like every other major. No, I don't mean small business. Small business aside, any major in the realm of Fortune 500 company, if in the last 20 years of the largest financial growth in American history, even with 2 financial crashes, you didn't save any money for a rainy day, I don't want to hear the violins from you. Like, I just don't want to hear it. And that's what really upsets me, is that you've got all of these companies, whether it be the military industrial complex, whether it be American Airlines or General Electric or whatever, all of these guys got their bailouts, but the American people didn't get bailed out.
Right.
And the American small business owner didn't get bailed out. And it's just like, dude, like, you can only take advantage of people for so long before they revolt.
For so long that you take it as a right.
Right.
It's a right for you to make money off of. That's why it's kind of upsetting that in all of this discourse, nobody's talking about the consumer, which is the people basically talking about all this money that they're losing on the backs of our safety and our decision. Like what? It just feels like it really proves the point that we're just like, no, we don't matter.
No. It's profit. It's all profit.
Totally profit.
We're just numbers. We're numbers and clicks. That's all they care, And I mean, look, dude, that's every business. That's just not the film industry. That's
also the problem is
everyone.
That they're. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel like it's also like the big chains that are in trouble. Like the small mom and pop are actually going to survive just fine. So that's also why I'm like, these are huge. Like, before the pandemic, they were talking about even going bigger. Like, I was reading about making like super mega theater chain. Like, I'm talking about like theme park style big theater chains to really like take over the in terms of like bringing people in for movies. So like they were on the way to that, and I think this definitely.
Wait, are you talking about putting a roller coaster with a movie?
No. I mean, like theme park size, like a huge, because the multiplex is a relatively new thing in terms of. Like,
but you're talking about a Disney World sized movie theater.
I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I had read that they were going all the way with making like. Yeah.
Well, the thing that I really, and man, I had this idea when I was in high school. The idea of having lazy boys and waiters come to your chair and serve you food and a beer in a movie theater. I thought that's kind of where it was heading, was this sort of, you can have a fine dining experience and watch a movie, because now you could justify spending $150, at a movie theater. And that I'd be okay if I got a badass steak, with, side of potatoes and a, good beer. Yeah, of course, dude. I'd pay for that, no problem. But it's now it seems like the drive-in's coming back.
Yeah,
that's pop-up drive-ins.
They could have. I mean, the movie, all these places could have. Nobody knew that the pandemic was going to last this long, so nobody made the right moves. But the movie theater chains,
you should have seen. Yeah,
and shown the movies there. They could have been. It could have been, if they were mobilized with enough time. You could have access to that.
Some movie theaters could do that. But I'm thinking of for example, the one we have downtown in the Regal Cinema downtown. Like, there's nowhere they could do an outdoor theater there. So I went
to a premiere by Van Nuys, and I can't remember what theater chain it was. But the back of the building was big enough to show
movies,
the projecting, and it was the parking lot. So people parked, they watched the movie, and then they could walk into the concession stand. So it's still the movie experience. I remember I just walking in and smelling popcorn, I started tearing up. But at least you're not inside. It feels safer when if you just go and buy something and come right back out. And if you're obviously not every theater has that opportunity. There's not enough space. there's that, you know, like some places just don't have the space, but that should have been the thing. At least as a remedial, I mean, moving forward, they need to have a plan B if this ever happens again.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, it's just, I mean, I feel like I don't know how you couldn't see this not coming, you know, especially with the leadership at the top. Like I knew this was not going to be a short thing. And it's a tough nut to crack, dude, because it's a pandemic. It's just something that the world hasn't dealt with in a long time. So how we're dealing and reacting to it is going to be different everywhere. But yeah, it's funny how quickly small business, not for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of, like, I think I read that California has lost 1/3 of the small business that it had. That's devastating to the California economy. That's going to hurt in the next budget council meeting, you know, like those, and people are leaving California. So that's less tax dollars, less people paying into the system. You know, it's going to be interesting to see, dude. It's going to be interesting to see, but it's nice to see that some of these, well, I was going to say some of these small businesses have been able to adapt and sort of not thrive, but at least get by. Some small businesses just can't. They just don't have, you know, the infrastructure, and they don't have the bank to you know, put those plans into action. It's not good. It's not good. But I love the idea. I have never been to a drive-in, never in my life. So I think we should maybe hit that up at least once.
I was able to do it a couple times this year, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, you know, ain't nobody checking concessions now. You know, ain't nobody checking your pocketbooks for the milk duds that you snuck in from, you know, Rite Aid. So you can bring whatever the hell you want. Damn, you could bring a barbecue if you wanted to. You probably barbecue out the back of a tailgate if you had the room. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see, man. I mean, I'm hoping this next year, 2021, knock on wood, you and I can start performing again.
Oh yeah,
on like a real stage. That's I don't even see that happening next year.
Yeah,
you know, it's gonna be that's a big ask. And you know, how are especially small theaters like the UCB or, you know, the PAC or any of these small improv theaters going to implement shields between seats? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's it gonna look like? And
they're always musty, small.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe next time we'll have you on again. We'll talk about sort of maybe what the future of hey, JC, welcome. We're now as we're wrapping up the show, everybody's starting to come in. So maybe we'll talk about next time sort of what we think the future of theater is going to look like, and maybe stand-up comedy.
Yeah, well, stand-up is doing pretty good. They're outside venues.
Well, outside venues are definitely working. That also leads to a lot of these stand-up comedians are going back home. You know, because now they realize they don't need Flappers or, you know, the comedy club. They can go sell out of Cowfield and fill that with however many people they want, and keep the entire house. Keep every single ticket profit that you make from it. You know, especially Dave Chappelle, he's doing some great work out in Ohio. And you know, I think he's taking those funds, and I think he's also, you know, donating them to charities and things. So you know, yeah, dude, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I already did an episode of television under these COVID rules, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like I had 4 tests in 3 days.
4?
2 in one day. The day that I shot.
Yeah, I did. I had to do I booked a commercial that was shooting maybe like a couple days before, you know, after, you know, when I got it, and I had to get stabbed in the brain twice in a row. With the deep I had been able to get away from that kind, the one that goes right in.
Yeah.
But for that one, it was like 20 seconds in there. It's like, though, I don't know if you've done that.
No, I haven't done that one yet. No, mine were pretty
power to cough and sneeze and just like, ugh, and you just have to hold it. And then I walked away like like if I would have been using the Oculus for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It really takes you off of balance.
Yeah.
and I was immediately sick, like congested. It was just twice in a row, 20, so 40 seconds. Imagine 20, a thing poking, going in, going out.
Yeah.
My nose has been messed with. I feel like I had my Wall Street. I feel like I had my Wall Street experience.
How many? I guess maybe this will be the last question for you, unless you want to stick around longer, because I think I might go dive into an article, a UFO article, if you want to stick around for that, but you don't have to. But the last thing I wanted to ask you was, how is your auditioning process changed now?
Well, it's self-taping, and honestly, I kind of dig it. I think actors usually are from two different camps. Some people like to go there because they book the room. I think that self-taping allows me to really like because a lot of times when you're auditioning, you have to prepare like a performance. You have one shot, right?
Right.
And I feel like with self-tapes that you if you're reading with people that you're comfortable with, like you can really put something out that's really good. You can work on it, you can workshop it. You have the chance to really do the thing. So I actually benefited. I feel like, and also the veil has lifted in terms of like acceptance of self-tapes in a way that before they used to like look down on it. I don't know if remember not too long ago, they were like, if you're not around, you can't send a self-tape, but it's basically saying they're not going to look, they're not going to care, because like you have to be there in front of them. And now because everything's changed, now people are like, oh, I guess we can book series and important things just off of the self-tape. And people are now like testing for stuff, just do it through Zoom and all this stuff, and it still works. So I'm kind of like, I like that the option is presented, and I think more so when it comes to like commercial stuff. The whole, now we really I don't need to drive for 3 hours in traffic to Santa Monica for a commercial.
Right. We're fine parking.
To say one line.
Yeah. Especially for those one lines.
No, literally to do this. ¿Qué es eso? And that's it. Like you just there's auditions where you're just literally reacting to something and you literally go, huh?
Yeah.
And hi, my name is Carlos Santos.
Do you have like do you have like a permanent audition setup station right now?
My apartment. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a permanent one, man, because my apartment's really tight right now, just because there's two people.
Well, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. I mean, I got a white wall, I've got the light, I've got the camera, everything. I've got all of that stuff. I just don't have something where I can just keep everything and just pop in front of the camera and go. I've always got to set it up and break it down, But I have, part of me kind of misses going into the room because I feel like I thrive a little bit on the pressure of nailing it in front of people. And it's because eventually you're gonna have to do it in front of people. And this idea, like I'm worried that you haven't performed in front of people for almost like a live audience of people. You might get a little nervous coming back. Those nerves might start riling up again, especially when you're on set and everybody's in masks and everybody's like, let's go. No fucking around. Let's do this. It's it's intimidating. So I don't know which one I prefer, but once you said, those, I think it's just those 3 hours in the car, the 3 hours in the car to go, hey, Barry, and all right, thanks. All right, I guess I'll go.
I think the positive, and I totally get what you mean. Sometimes it is good to go in front of people, but I feel like those first calls, also, there's just more acceptance for them in a way that I think I can show you better what I can do with something from a self-tape, and then I can come in and say, hey, it's not a fluke. I could also do it in front of you.
Right.
But I think the fact that now casting, and because there's just no other option, the fact that now self-tapes are seen in a different light, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I think moving forward, I'll still want to go and show the room that I got it.
The flip side to that, you still got it. Well, the flip side of that is also like obviously with doing this show now twice a week, and I'm doing live streams and all sorts of stuff, it's a lot of my time has been spent here, and it's sometimes it's hard for me to pull away from this if I had to drive to Santa Monica and take 3 hours out of my day to go say, hey, Barry, and then come back. and never get it or never get a call back. It's just a waste of your time, just because the casting director wants to see 3,000 people, you know, and it's like, okay.
Well, that shows that how unnecessary it is. It is a power move. That's the thing that I'm saying.
Oh, it's
old Hollywood ways of looking at things that now, because of this,
so abusive,
that it's not necessary.
Like some of these casts, especially when these casting directors have to know, especially if they've cast at that office more than once, the parking situation in some of these casting offices is horrendous. And the times, I mean, I swear to God, it's almost like a greenskeeper at a golf course where he puts the pins on the green in the hardest spots just to mess with the golfers. It's like these casting directors,
it's an obstacle.
Like they're just like,
do you want to work?
Like, yeah, how badly do you want to work? Well, I'd love to see you in Santa Monica at 4:30 on a Friday. Thanks. It's just like, you relentless, heartless, soulless son of a boom. You know, especially if you're like, you know, like me, where I, you know, when it was normal, I was working at a restaurant and you got to juggle and you don't want to let anybody down at, you know, and your other responsibilities. But yeah. So, all right, Carlos, it's been an hour and a half, man. I've talked your ear off. So
we did it.
If you want to get out of here, I totally understand.
I gotta go.
But yeah, no, I get it. It's what time is it over there? 5:30.
Yeah,
5:30. But all right, man. Well, dude, thank you for doing this last second. I woke up this morning. I was like, I'm going to do a live stream. I want to talk about Star Wars. Who can I talk about with? Let me talk to Carlos. So yeah, dude. So thanks for coming on again and getting.
Congratulations on everything, man. You're taking leaps and bounds and getting leaps. Every time I see you, you're looking better. Everything's looking more professional.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm trying, and it's paying off slowly but surely. We just did a thing with the History Channel, and we've had some really good interviews and some people coming on the show, and I'm trying to book some other folks to come on. So yeah, dude, it's working, which is exactly what I wanted, you know, just but yeah, it's a fun thing to navigate. Anyway, thank you, Carlos Santos, for stopping by, my friend. You're always welcome anytime. And yeah, have fun in Florida. Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you soon, my friend.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Yep, ciao. Bye. All right, you guys. So that was Carlos Santos joining us for the live stream. Such a cool dude. I love that guy, man. He is one of my favorite people on the planet, and I hope you enjoyed that conversation with him. He's so giving with his time, and you know, he's a busy dude. He's you know, he's making a career for himself, and that's all you can try and do here. And or you're still in the stream. Yeah. I took you out. I can't hear you. So yeah, and nobody can see you. Yeah. So yeah, dude, he's a beautiful soul. I love that dude. Absolutely love that guy. Okay, so let's I wanted to touch briefly. There's been a couple of article drops that have been a lot of fun. One of which, let me expand this for you guys out there. And if there's any questions you guys have in the chat, let me know. Don't hesitate. You know, we've got a small audience today, so don't be shy out there. JC, Kenneth, thank you guys for joining us. Wanted to check out some articles here on the debrief that I just wanted to point your direction. I'm not going to read them all, but this one in particular caught my interest right here. And the title of this article is former CIA Director Brennan says we should be open-minded about UFOs. So there has been an article by the New York Mag and now, you know, the debrief here pointing out these heads of state. I don't want to call them heads of state, but very influential, very well-respected people in their fields are starting to come out and really speak to let me hide these here real quick. There we go. And sorry, just new to this stuff here, you guys, so I am just taking out, let's see here, banners. Oh, let's take that out, hide that one. Boom, there we go. Okay, so there's been a lot of people coming out here in the last 3 months Here we've got, CIA director, John Brennan talking about how we should be open-minded to the idea and possibilities of UFOs. You had Haim Eshed in Israel, who recently came out, and there was another thing I wanted to point you guys toward. Let me put this article from The Brief in the comment section so you guys can check it out. There you go. And the other thing I wanted to take a look at, or at least discuss a little bit, was the interview that Jeremy Corbell had with the journalist that interviewed Haim Eshed. And let me just search him. So here it is right here. So he interviewed a little 20-minute interview with the gentleman who interviewed Haim Eshed. And let's see here. I just want to get this this journalist's name. It's not in the breakdown of his. Jeez, man. Come on, Jeremy. How could you not put this guy's name inside the breakdown of everything? Professor Haim Eshed, space program. Yeah. I mean, okay. Anyway, okay. So there's his name right there. He put it on the screen, but he didn't put it in the description of the video, which is kind of shocking. So here we go. So the journalist, Israeli journalist, Renan Shaked, and he did the interview with Haim Eshed. And this is a very interesting conversation between Jeremy Corbell and this journalist. Jeremy Corbell, of course, is very much selling this as a very real thing, and everything he says is 100% fact, and it's just not. I've got my issues with Jeremy Corbell as a filmmaker, but he does, for the most part, do some pretty decent journalism, if that's what you want to call it. I don't consider myself a journalist, that's for sure. But anyway, I mean, he did get the first interview with this Israeli journalist. So this was the guy that was in the room with Haim Eshed, the Israeli head of satellites and the space program in Israel, and he's considered the father of the space program in Israel. So he still works for the Israeli government. He's not retired, and according to this Israeli journalist, it seems like this guy had a level head, and that's what he wanted to talk about when he came into the room. He wanted to talk about his theories about aliens on Mars and underground bases and all sorts of wild stuff. So definitely check out this interview as well, you guys. I think I'm gonna break down this interview a little more. I've only watched it once, but I found it interesting. I also found it interesting that Jeremy Corbell edits his videos just like I do. So there's that. But I didn't find it offensive. I thought it was pretty decent stuff. But yeah, I included the link for this video in the description below. So definitely check it out, you guys. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to touch on those two things real quick. Answer any questions that you guys had in the chat. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us for this chat. We ended up going for an hour and 45 minutes almost. Time flies when you're having a good time. I had a great time with Carlos. And so I think I'm going to end the stream. Yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream. I think that's a good place to end it. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Michelle, out there, for joining the stream. Really fun to have you guys, as always. Thank you for watching another episode of the Unidentified Celebrity Review, your home for credible news, reviews, and commentary on everything UFOs and sometimes other things. My name's Luis Jimenez. Until next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Be good. Peace.